Imagine standing up from your favorite chair after dinner, taking those first few steps toward the kitchen, and suddenly noticing something you didn't expect. Your legs feel weak. Maybe they're a little shaky. Maybe the stairs seem harder than they used to. Or perhaps you find yourself holding onto the countertop for just a second longer before walking away. You might tell yourself, "I'm getting older. This is probably normal." But here's the part worth paying attention to. Weak or shaky legs aren't always something you simply have to accept as part of aging. Sometimes your body may be missing the building blocks it needs to maintain muscle function, strength, and energy. And that brings us to something surprisingly simple. The foods you put on your plate every day can help support the muscles that carry you through your day. I'm Dr. Calvin Stone, and in this video, we're going to look at 6 foods that can be especially useful when you're over 60 and trying to protect your leg strength. But there's an important distinction before we begin. These foods aren't magic treatments for weak legs, and eating one particular food won't suddenly make your legs strong overnight. Weakness or shaking can have many possible causes, and persistent or sudden symptoms deserve proper medical attention. What we're talking about today is nutrition, giving your body the raw materials it needs to support healthy muscle function as you age. And the first food is one that many older adults already have in their kitchen: eggs. Eggs are small, inexpensive, and incredibly easy to prepare. But nutritionally, they provide something your muscles need every day: high-quality protein. Think about what happens when you're in your 20s or 30s. Your body generally maintains muscle more easily. But as the decades pass, maintaining that muscle requires more attention. And this is where protein becomes important. Every time you stand up from a chair, climb stairs, walk through the grocery store, or carry a bag of food, your muscles are doing work. Your body needs amino acids from protein to maintain and repair those muscles. That doesn't mean you need to eat enormous portions of meat or start drinking complicated protein shakes. A simple food like eggs can be part of a balanced breakfast or meal. You could have an egg with whole grain toast and some vegetables, or add a hard-boiled egg to a salad. The goal isn't to make eggs your entire diet. It's to make sure your meals consistently provide your body with enough protein. And there's another reason this matters after 60. Many older adults eat a breakfast that is mostly carbohydrates, perhaps toast, cereal, or a pastry, and then wonder why they feel hungry again a short time later. Adding a protein source can make that meal more substantial. But here's where things get interesting. Protein is only one piece of the puzzle. Your muscles don't operate on protein alone. They also depend on fluids, minerals, energy, and a variety of nutrients to function normally. And that's why our second food is completely different from eggs. It comes from the sea. Fatty fish. Salmon, sardines, trout, and similar fish can provide protein along with omega-3 fatty acids. And when you're thinking about healthy aging, that's an interesting combination. You get protein to support muscle maintenance, while omega-3 fats are part of a balanced eating pattern associated with overall health. For someone over 60, that can be particularly valuable because the goal isn't simply to build bigger muscles. The real goal is functional strength. Strength that helps you get out of a chair. Strength that helps you carry groceries. Strength that helps you feel confident walking around your neighborhood. Strength that helps you remain independent. Picture a typical morning. You wake up, put your feet on the floor, walk into the kitchen, and prepare breakfast. Those ordinary movements may not feel like exercise, but they're actually little demonstrations of your physical independence. And protecting that independence is one of the most important reasons to care about muscle health in the first place. So if fish is something you enjoy, consider making it part of your regular meals. But don't stop there, because the third food takes us in a completely different direction, and it may be especially interesting if your legs sometimes feel tired after even modest activity. The third food is Greek yogurt. It may not look like a muscle-building food at first glance, but for someone over 60, it can be a remarkably convenient way to add protein to the diet. And there's something important to understand about protein as you get older. Your muscles don't respond to food exactly the same way they did decades ago. Maintaining muscle becomes more challenging, which means the quality and consistency of your protein intake matter. That's why a meal with a meaningful protein source can be more useful than simply eating more food. A bowl of plain Greek yogurt can be paired with berries, chopped nuts, or a small amount of fruit. It can become breakfast, it can be a snack, or it can be an easy option when you don't feel like preparing a full meal. But don't turn this into a race to eat as much protein as possible. If you have kidney disease, have been told to restrict protein, or have another medical condition that affects your diet, your protein needs may be different. That's something to discuss with your healthcare professional. Now, there's another nutrient that deserves attention when we're talking about muscles and shaky legs. Potassium. Potassium helps your nerves and muscles function properly. And one simple food that can provide potassium is something many people already enjoy. Bananas. A banana isn't a cure for weak legs, but as part of an overall nutritious diet, it provides potassium along with carbohydrates that your body can use for energy. This matters because sometimes people focus so intensely on protein that they forget the rest of the nutritional picture. Your legs need energy to move, your muscles need nutrients to function, and your body needs adequate fluids as well. Imagine someone who starts the day with coffee, eats very little breakfast, stays busy all morning, and doesn't drink much water. By lunchtime, they may feel drained. That doesn't automatically mean there's a serious problem with their muscles. Sometimes the basics matter. Adequate food, adequate fluids, regular movement, and enough nutrients to support the body. But there is an important warning here. If your legs suddenly become weak, especially if the weakness occurs on one side of the body, or if it's accompanied by trouble speaking, facial drooping, severe dizziness, chest pain, or difficulty breathing, don't try to solve the problem with food. Seek urgent medical attention. Nutrition is part of healthy aging. It is not a substitute for evaluating a potentially serious symptom. Now let's move to the fifth food, because this one can provide something that eggs, yogurt, and bananas don't provide in quite the same way. Beans and lentils. Think about foods such as black beans, kidney beans, chickpeas, and lentils. They're affordable, versatile, and provide plant-based protein along with fiber and other nutrients. For an older adult trying to build a more balanced diet, that's a powerful combination. You can add lentils to soup, put chickpeas into a salad. Use black beans in a simple bowl with vegetables and whole grains. The goal is not perfection, it's consistency, because muscle health isn't determined by what you eat once. It's influenced by the overall pattern of your meals, your physical activity, your sleep, and your general health over time. And there's another reason beans deserve a place on this list. They can help you build a meal that is more satisfying without relying entirely on processed foods. For example, imagine a simple dinner. Lentils, a serving of vegetables, a whole grain, and some healthy fat. That's very different from a dinner built mostly around refined carbohydrates. And for someone concerned about maintaining strength after 60, the difference isn't just about calories. It's about nutritional quality. But there's still one food left. And this final one is especially interesting because it provides a nutrient that many people associate with bones, yet it also has a connection to how your muscles work. Leafy green vegetables. Spinach, kale, collard greens, and other dark leafy greens can contribute vitamins and minerals to your diet, including calcium in some varieties. And calcium isn't only about bones. It also plays a role in normal muscle contraction. That doesn't mean eating a plate of spinach will immediately stop your legs from shaking. That's not how nutrition works. But over time, building meals around nutrient-rich foods gives your body a better foundation, and that foundation becomes increasingly important as you age. There's a bigger lesson here. If your legs feel weaker than they used to, don't look for one magical food. Look at the entire picture. Are you getting enough protein? Are you eating enough nutrient-rich foods? Are you staying hydrated? Are you moving your body regularly and safely? And most importantly, has the weakness changed recently? Because that last question can tell you something food alone cannot. And that brings us to one of the most important points in this entire conversation. Weak legs are a symptom, not a diagnosis. If you've noticed a gradual decrease in strength, nutrition may be one part of the picture. But if the weakness is persistent, getting worse, interfering with walking, or accompanied by frequent falls, numbness, significant pain, swelling, or unusual fatigue, it's worth talking with your healthcare professional. Sometimes the cause has nothing to do with what you ate for breakfast. Certain medications, nerve problems, circulation issues, nutritional deficiencies, joint problems, and other health conditions can affect how your legs feel and function. So don't assume every change is simply getting old. At the same time, don't assume every weak leg sensation means something serious. Pay attention to the pattern. When did it begin? Is it happening in both legs or mainly one? Does it occur after activity, when standing up, or even when you're resting? Is your balance changing? Those details can help your healthcare professional understand what's happening. Now let's bring the 6 foods together. We've talked about eggs for convenient high-quality protein, fatty fish for protein and omega-3 fats, Greek yogurt as another practical protein source, bananas for potassium and energy-providing carbohydrates, beans and lentils for plant-based protein, fiber and other nutrients, and leafy green vegetables for a variety of vitamins and minerals. But here's the mistake I don't want you to make. Don't wake up tomorrow and think, I'm going to eat all 6 of these foods every single day. That's not the lesson. The lesson is to build balanced meals consistently. For example, your breakfast might include Greek yogurt with berries and a few nuts. Lunch could be a bean and vegetable salad. Dinner might include salmon, a leafy green vegetable, and a whole grain. Another day, you might choose eggs for breakfast and lentil soup for lunch. The exact combination can change. What matters is creating a pattern that gives your body adequate nutrition while fitting your preferences, budget, and medical needs. And don't forget about movement. Food provides the raw materials, but your muscles also need a reason to stay strong. For many older adults, that can mean regular walking and appropriately challenging strength exercises, such as supervised resistance training or simple chair-based exercises when appropriate. If you haven't exercised in a while, especially if you have health conditions or significant weakness, ask your healthcare professional what level of activity is appropriate for you. Because the goal isn't to punish your body, the goal is to keep using it. Think about something as simple as getting out of a chair. That movement requires your legs, hips, core, balance, and coordination to work together. Every time you safely practice those movements, you're reinforcing something much bigger than muscle strength. You're supporting independence. You're supporting confidence. You're supporting the ability to do ordinary things without constantly worrying about whether your legs will cooperate. And that's really what healthy aging is about. Not looking young, not becoming an athlete, not chasing some unrealistic number on a scale. It's being able to walk into your kitchen, carry your groceries, climb the stairs, play with your grandchildren, take a walk with your spouse, stand up from the dinner table without needing to think twice about it. Those ordinary abilities are easy to overlook until they become difficult. So, if your legs have been feeling weaker lately, start by looking at the basics. Are you eating enough nutritious protein? Are your meals varied? Are you drinking enough fluids for your individual needs? Are you staying physically active in a safe way? And are you paying attention to changes that deserve medical evaluation? Remember, no single food can guarantee stronger legs, but a consistent, nutrient-rich eating pattern can be an important part of taking care of your body as you age. And if you're currently dealing with weak or shaky legs, don't feel embarrassed about bringing it up with your doctor. Your body is giving you information. The goal isn't to fear that information, it's to understand it. If you've noticed changes in your leg strength, tell me in the comments. When do your legs feel weakest? In the morning, when climbing stairs, after walking, or when standing up from a chair? Your answer might also help someone else realize they're not the only person experiencing it. And if you found this information useful, consider subscribing for more straightforward, practical health information designed for adults over 60. Because getting older doesn't mean giving up your strength. It means paying a little more attention to the things that help you keep it. There is one final idea I want you to remember. Your legs don't exist in isolation. They are part of a larger system involving your muscles, nerves, circulation, bones, joints, balance, hydration, and nutrition. So when your legs begin feeling different, the smartest response isn't to panic, and it isn't to ignore it. It's to pay attention. Maybe your meals have become smaller because your appetite has changed. Maybe you've been eating less protein because cooking has become inconvenient. Maybe you've stopped moving as much because your knees or hips bother you. Maybe you've simply gotten into the habit of eating the same few foods every day. These small changes can add up. And that's why improving your meals can be a practical place to start. You don't need a complicated diet. You don't need expensive supplements. And you certainly don't need to believe that one miracle food can reverse aging. Instead, think about your next meal. Could you add a source of protein? Could you include a vegetable? Could you choose a less processed carbohydrate? Could you drink some water if you've been neglecting fluids? Those simple decisions, repeated over weeks and months, can matter far more than a dramatic change that lasts 3 days. And remember the 6 foods we've discussed: eggs, fatty fish, Greek yogurt, bananas, beans, and lentils. Leafy green vegetables, use them as building blocks, not as a prescription. If you have diabetes, kidney disease, heart disease, difficulty swallowing, food allergies, or dietary restrictions, your best choices and portions may be different. In that situation, your doctor or a registered dietitian can help you personalize your meals. And if your leg weakness is new, severe, rapidly worsening, or associated with neurological symptoms, don't wait for a food to fix it. Get medical advice, because sometimes the most powerful thing you can do for your health isn't adding another food. It's recognizing when your body is asking you to investigate. Your goal after 60 shouldn't be to prove that you're still 30. Your goal should be to make the next decade as capable, active, and independent as possible. One meal can support that goal, one walk can support it, one strength exercise can support it, and one conversation with your healthcare professional can sometimes make a difference too. So take care of your legs, because every step they take represents a little more freedom, and that freedom is worth protecting.